Peace, peace. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? John Lamar X here at you back again, trying to stay consistent, trying to do what I've been told y'all was gonna do. So today, man, we're just talking, we just flowing, going over some of the stuff that I've already talked about, but it's a little bit it's kind of new. Hopefully you get some pointers from it. Again, this is all practice, man, because again, nobody's in here. This is really for you when I grow, when I get to the point where this channel has 1 million subscribers and all of that, you're gonna look back on this and say, damn, dude, I really came a long way. So, all right, first off, you are the Lord of your own world. We always talk about different dimensions and stuff like that. Y'all like my microphone? Hopefully y'all can hear me. But we always talk about different dimensions and stuff like that, right? But no one really talks about what a dimension really is. Let's try something. Hold on. See if this works. We'll try it like this. Yeah, nobody really talks about what a dimension really is, though. From my understanding, a dimension is just a certain place in space and point in time. So therefore, if me and you are in a different dimension right now, even though you're watching me digitally, we're in two different dimensions. So I'm the Lord of my dimension. And what is a Lord, by the way? Let's look up, what does Lord mean? I think a Lord kind of comes off the Game of Thrones, Lord Eddard Stark, stuff like that. But a landlord. Let's see, what's the definition of a lord? The master of the servants of a household, one possessing similar mastery over others, one possessing similar mastery. Okay, domineer or act like a lord, to invest with the dignity, power, and privileges of a lord, one possessing similar mastery. Well, let's just go from that definition, right? The Quran says that Allah is the Lord of the worlds, but we're the Lord of our world. It says mastery over others, but first you have to master yourself. That's what philosophical alchemy is all about, self-mastery. So I look at it like this. I heard a mentor of mine say back in the day, he said that you are the director of your own game. You are the Steven Spielberg of your own life. So the way I set my life up is to live it the way I want to live it. I sit back and I think about what it is that I want to do, what type of woman it is that I want, what type of car I want to drive, what type of house I want to live in. And I was doing these things years ago, and I can honestly say my life looks very similar to what I thought it would look like, almost to the T. Very similar. And we do these things unconsciously. I kind of had faith or belief that it worked back in 2017 when I first started consciously doing this stuff. Now I'm a knower. It's not even a believer anymore. I know manifestation works. I know the law of attraction works. I know visualization works. And what I'm saying is, sit back and just figure out how do you want to live your life with no compromise in it. Meaning, I don't care what. You can't be tripping about what everybody else thinks about your life. Not mama, not daddy, not preacher, not minister, not anybody. That's a lot of that's a lot of problem. That's a lot of our problem right now. You may just have too many bosses in your life. Meaning mama still the boss, daddy still the boss, preacher still the boss, wife still the boss, children still the boss. Every time you turn around, it's, shoulda, woulda, coulda. What you think I should do? It's too many people in your mind that are telling you what to do. You have to have an uncompromising will to do what you want to do. Now, I'm not telling you to get crazy with that, though, because some of us can get crazy with it. I have gotten real crazy with that in the past. That's why I subscribe to a certain belief system. I stay inside of my belief system, religious belief system, that is. I stay inside of that belief system. But at the same time, I don't compromise my belief system or try not to. Let's just say my belief system is a circle. Take a look at this. Let's say my belief system is a circle. I should have made that bigger. Hopefully you can see it. My belief system is a circle, right? You see that? Circle. Jay's belief system. Let me write it just so you can know. Belief system. My belief system is a circle. Now, inside of that circle, I do exactly what I want to do. All throughout that circle. I don't care who doesn't like it, who gets mad about it. As long as I'm not compromising that belief system and I'm inside that circle, I run rampant. I run wild. All the way wild. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, and I've been there before. I'm not telling you. See, I've been rebellious before. That's why I need a certain belief system, because I can get too edgy. The thing is this. You may be doing this. This is the belief system. This is your belief system. See that circle? And let me close the circle out. I don't want you to skip out. No, you need that belief system closed. You need your belief system tight. But what you want to do, well, what you may be doing, is you do this. You stay right there in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Because you may be afraid of what, if I go this way, what mom gonna say? If I go this way, what is dad gonna say? If I go this way, what is auntie gonna say? And what happens is you stay there your whole life. You know what I mean? I mean, I can get deeper into it, but if you're living it, I know you know exactly what I mean. But you got to sit back and just ask yourself, what is it that I want? Really, really want? And again, some of us, you just may be too in tune with the voices in your head from the bosses in your life, where you haven't actually sat back and asked yourself what you want. And don't say you don't know what you want, because you know. Every last one of us know what we want. You just may not have taken the time to get clear about it, and you just may not be being honest with yourself about it. But I guarantee you know what you want. It's like you just have to tune down the noise. And that's what I'm here for. That's what your brother, Johnny Lamar X, is here for, to tell you to tune down the noise, man. Even tune me down sometimes. And just listen to your voice, and I dare you to act on it. I dare you to act on it. And regardless of who gets mad about it or whatever. Because see, the thing is this, the people who get mad about it are usually people who aren't living their truth either. Because people who are really living their truth, they can respect it. They understand it. Even if they don't agree with it, they understand it. You know what I mean? That's like, we'll talk about that later. Okay. Your mind is an asset or a liability depending on how you use it. There we go. Your mind is an asset or a liability depending on how you use it. And it's all about your programming. This is how you know if it's been an asset or a liability. Does the same stuff keep happening to you? Meaning, have you been broke for a long time? You know what I mean? Can you not stay in a relationship ever? Like never. You keep attracting the same person. Or do you just have no friends? Just relationships, period. Not just man and woman, but like relationships, period. Are you always feeling like you're being betrayed? Or are you the one doing the betraying? Or most people who are doing the betraying don't think they're doing the betraying. Are people constantly accusing you of betraying them? You got to look at that. Jay, what does this have to do with programming? It's a program. It's a script that's playing in your mind. And if it's not doing what you want it to do, it's obviously negative. If it's doing exactly what you wanted to do, it's positive. And we all have some negatives. But it goes back to tuning in, being present enough to observe it. What pisses you off? Oftentimes, you will find that negative programming in whatever triggers you. For a long time, I used to get triggered by certain people in my life. And it would be the same stuff they would do. And I used to get so frustrated. These were people I loved. I would get so frustrated because I would always try to change them. You know, it almost gets to the point where you get bitter after a while. You get resentful of them. And it wasn't until I realized that I just had to switch my perspective. Because they're not responsible for the way I feel. I'm responsible for the way that I feel. Period. That's how I live my life. I take full responsibility for everything in my life. Even if it's not directly my fault, it's my responsibility to deal with it. Once you think like that, now you have the ability to change whatever it is. Anything can happen in my life, whatever it is. Whatever. I mean, I've been through, man, very close to bankruptcy. I've been thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, fired from jobs, man, just all kind of stuff, man. We're gonna get deeper into it. You're gonna find out about who you're dealing with, you know. So once I learned to logically respond and not emotionally react, and it takes a while, it takes practice because it is hard in the beginning, but after a while, you start to master it. You master your thinking, you master yourself. And it goes back to God does not want you to be unsuccessful. Don't wallow in victimhood. It goes back to the same thing. I remember around like in 2019. Let's go back to 2017. I had my so-called goody two shoes, you know, the dream job, super corporate job. It was cool. You know, you had all the stuff that your parents told you about, the benefits and the, you know, you could pursue your college goals and stuff like that. It was cool. It was cool. But I never fit in with the company culture. It just wasn't who I was. I never hit quota. You know, I was not a fit for it. The money was cool, but that was it. So, needless to say, I didn't hit quota, so eventually I wound up being let go. It felt bad for a minute, but I snapped out of it real quick. And a few months later, I wound up taking a job, almost like an internship or a mentorship by a guy in the mall. And this guy, he was a small business owner. Him and his wife owned 3 small businesses. And I remember starting off working for this guy. And as time went by, I had the freedom of an entrepreneur, but as time went by, let's just say I wasn't getting paid. You know, not getting paid on time. And I was in a desperate situation. I felt very desperate at the time. I didn't understand my power. I didn't understand that I was reacting to life as a victim and not as a powerful being. So as time went on, I'm working there and guys paying me wants to pay me. I mean, and that's another thing. Whenever you put yourself in a situation to be a victim, people will treat you like a victim. They will treat you like a victim. And it's almost embarrassing, man, because I mean, this guy was using my credit. I mean, just imagine the way that uh imagine the way that a person can get totally misused I allowed myself to be that way. I allowed that to happen. And I remember in 2019 when I left, we'll get deeper into the story as time goes on. We'll get way deeper into this one. Leaving with not enough money to pay my bills. I remember being very angry inside. I remember feeling very victimized. I remember really, really being in a dark place. But I didn't understand that that dark place was a place that I was allowing myself to be. Because money doesn't determine my power level. Let me say that again. Money doesn't determine my power level at all. I learned that I had a tool called a powerful mind that could create money out of thin air. Let me say that again, because I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I said I had a tool called a powerful mind that could literally create money out of thin air. But I had to go through it in order to get to it. I had to understand that the power was in me the whole time. If I really understood, as a matter of fact, when I went to work for him, there was another guy, an entrepreneur, older entrepreneur. And he seen I had some grind. That's another thing. If you have some, once you get in motion, people who are in motion will see you. And some of them will stop to lend you some assistance or at least tell you which direction you maybe you should go in. You see, you have to get on the interstate in order to see other drivers. If you're on the sideline or if you're on the sidewalk, other drivers aren't really paying you attention. But when you're actually on the highway, other drivers can see you and they may just let you know, hey man, your lights are on or your lights are off. All right. Hey man, your blinkers out. They'll offer you some assistance. So this one particular fella, he told me, older gentleman, he said, hey man, you can do exactly what he's doing right now. See, he seen that. He knew that I could do exactly what this guy is paying me to do right now. And this is what I'm telling you. If you don't like the situation that you're in right now, let's just say if it's a job or whatever it is, if it's a relationship, whatever it is, ask yourself, what is this person doing for me that I can't do for myself? Whoever it is. What is this person? What is this man? What is this woman who I'm sleeping with, or this man that I'm sleeping with, or this woman that I'm working for, this man that I'm working for? What is this person doing for me that I can't do for myself right now? That's your job to find that out. And once you find that out, it's on you to take the power. See, what makes you a victim is not wanting the power in the first place. That's what makes you a victim. Knowing you could have the power and not taking it. One thing if you don't know. But once you know, and if you allow fear to keep you there or just comfort to keep you there, it's on you. It's your fault. Completely your fault. I relieve the person who you think is victimizing you. I relieve that person of all responsibility at that point. Once you figure out what it is that they're doing that you can or can't do for yourself. And if you can do it for yourself, yeah, it's completely your fault. But I understand victimhood is what we're born in. We're born victims. Most people we talk to in society react to life like victims. I know I've been one. And I can still fall in and out of victimhood. The difference is that I understand it and I'm aware of it when I am being a victim. I'm aware of it. But we all know people who are always complaining. We know people who will go to a job or be in a relationship, and every time you see this person, they're complaining about it. And not only that, you'll try to offer this person advice, and this person will constantly tell you why they can't change that situation. Once I realize I'm talking to a victim who likes being a victim, it's time to change the subject. If I can't change the subject, it's time to change the situation, meaning person that I'm talking to, because that stuff is infectious. And it's hard enough to not allow yourself to be a victim. This is the thing that you train to do every day. The news makes you a victim. Every time you turn it on, social media will turn you into a victim unless you're very conscious and aware about what you're programming inside of your mind. Right? Number 4, you are the Lord. Oh, yeah. You are the Lord of your world, but not the Lord of the worlds. So I'm speaking this empowerment, and I mean this empowerment. This is what this is about. But you are the Lord of your world, but you're not the Lord of the worlds. There is a supreme being. You can call him Jehovah, you can call him Allah, you can call him whatever. But there is a supreme being. How do you know? Because when a situation approaches you that you don't have any answers to, no clues to whatsoever, what do? That's when you call out for that supreme being. That's when you surrender and understand there's something greater than yourself. And through your submission to that supreme being, you gain the assistance of that supreme being in creating a miracle in your life. I've had situations where I've been subpoenaed to court. I told you I was in debt, deep debt. Oh, these people like $6,000, which I had already paid though. Over the years, I paid what I owed, but the interest was tearing me apart. And it got to the point where they was, you get the phone calls, and I would always pick them up. I'm not afraid. I would pick them up, but it did cause a stressor. And eventually, I was subpoenaed to court. The magistrate court sent someone to my home with a subpoena. So what do? It was stressful. I understood I had done all I could do. I understood I couldn't pay him. So what did I do? I called on the supreme being. Some may call him infinite intelligence. Some may call him God. Whatever you call him. I called on the supreme being. And let's just say this was a company that was known for gobbling people up. Give me some money. You owe me some money. You owe me some money. They were known for gobbling people up. That's what they do. Not me, though. I walked in that court without a worry in the world. No sweat, whatever. No sweat whatsoever. So when I walked inside the court, I sat down, cool as a cucumber, whatever. And all I know, I think was a lady. She walked up to me. She said, "Mr. Magic, I don't think that I'm the defendant. So what were they? They were the opposite of the defendant. They haven't showed up today. The person who's supposed to be prosecuting you or suing you hasn't showed up today." Thinking, oh, this was easy. I mean, I knew I won already, but this was too easy. And I have thousands of scenarios like this. The power of your mind, or faith rather, because that's what positive thinking is. It's faith. Can move mountains and create miracles in your life. I haven't heard from that company again. But that doesn't mean, let me get this straight too. That doesn't mean that you go out and not pay people. That doesn't mean that. I had already paid these people. These people, the initial interest that I paid, the initial amount that I signed up to pay to receive from the loan, I had already paid. But they almost doubled it in interest. And in my religion, that doesn't work. The God that I serve, that doesn't work. Oh no. He paid you his money. That's all you're gonna get. That's why belief systems, and that's another thing. Since we're on the surrender part, because you are the Lord of your world, but not the Lord of the worlds. You didn't create yourself. You didn't create the sun, moon, and stars. Someone else did. You just were born here. It's almost like your parents gave you a house with some land. You didn't make it. You didn't create it. They just said, "Hey, you can operate here." And I got your brother. He has a house down the street. Your sister has a house down the street. But you didn't create any of them. Your sisters and brothers didn't. But there was a supreme being who did. But while at it, because I know that theology, which is the study of God, which is truly the study of yourself, because on this channel we taught that you are God's children of the Most High God. Theology is often looked at as something that people don't want to really even bother with, because, and I understand why, because it seems to be manipulative. It seems to be it seems to just want to keep you it seems to want to make you conform in order to be controlled by sinister people. So I understand, but what you have to ask yourself when it comes to a religion, is this a belief system that resonates with me? Can I subscribe to this belief system and thrive in my life? And also, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, is your belief system rooted in universal principles? Law of attraction. Is your belief system rooted in universal principles, meaning the law of karma, even on a material level? Like, I personally don't believe that a lady was walking down the street or wherever she was doing, and God said, "Oh, I'm pregnant." And 9 months later, a baby came out. To me, that's just a fairy tale. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. That's not rooted in universal truths. And if you think it is, I mean, maybe the cow jumped over the moon as well. You probably still believe in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy as well. I'm not saying Jesus doesn't perform miracles. I believe in Jesus, but I do not believe that a lady was impregnated without the assistance of a human man. I just don't believe it. So ask yourself, whatever belief system that you subscribe to, is this rooted in universal principles? Meaning, can I get up and go out in the real world and use this? And also, how does this belief system benefit my life? Don't just take your preacher's advice for it. Don't just take your mother or your father's advice for it. Do what most people don't want to do and use your brain. It's not going to blow up. You're not going to die. Do your own research. Take responsibility for yourself. Because I'm telling you, you're going to feel a lot better if you mess up and it was your mess up than if you mess up and because you listen to somebody else. You're going to feel a lot better if you say, okay, I tried it. It didn't work, but it's all on me. I can take that. But because I was listening to somebody else about my life and I've spent 6 years in something that don't work, that's another thing, man. It's almost startling to me. Like, it's simple, and I've been there, but people really just don't know how to live our lives. That's why we need belief systems to a degree, because we do need something to teach us how to live our lives. To me, it's simple. Find out what you like to do and what you don't like to do. And if you can, do more of what you like to do and less of what you don't like to do. Now, the belief system comes in because some of what you like to do may not be good for you. You know what I'm saying? We all like sex, but to go out here and rape a person probably ain't gonna be the best thing for you to do. You know what I mean? We all like money and nice things, but to go outside and just go steal a lady's purse or go break into a bank probably is not gonna work for you. So you need the thou shalt not rape or the thou shalt not steal or the thou shalt not. You need that. It keeps you structured. It keeps you in a situation where you're not venturing too off to kill yourself. It's the same. It's like, I look at it like when you're riding down the road, you have the yellow lines, then you have the white lines. And what happens is your belief system or your religion, it keeps you in line from crashing out. That's what it does. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes on some roads you can go fast. Sometimes you can go slow. But it just keeps you in line. That's all it does. Here we go. Every negative does have a positive. So I'm gonna use myself for an example. The negative in my life, as far as not having a lot of education. I mean, I went to college, but it wasn't my thing. Also being thousands of dollars in debt and not really being able to make a lot of money on these jobs that I'll probably qualify for. The on the traditional path, it would look very negative. It would be go back to school, do something that you don't really want to do, to go work for some people that you don't want to work for, and probably go into debt to go do it. Nah. So what happened? That forced me to use my mind. It forced me to pick up a book and gain some knowledge on how to operate in the sector that I wanted to operate in. And what happened is that I became more creative. And the more creative I became, the more powerful I became. The more powerful I became, the more powerful I became, the more I was able to make change in my life. And this is things that I have to remember every day. Because just like you, I can become unaware. I have to sit back and think, wow, regardless whatever came my way and comes my way, I always somehow seem to overcome. And the reason is because I didn't take the easy route. I don't have a bunch of education. So I have to use the universal laws. I have to try to believe in myself on a daily basis. Because if not, I wouldn't be able to do a thing. I wouldn't be able to operate at all. Not in America. That's the positive. I've gained self-confidence over the years because of what the outside world would see as a negative. I've learned to be still on the inside and have real resilience and emotional intelligence due to not having what the world would consider the accolades of letters of this world. That's what I'm telling you. If you have HIV right now, look at it like this. It's time to practice some supreme discipline. You know, learn more about health. Maybe this is a chance. This is a sign for you to get closer to your spirituality and embrace your spirituality, because that's what we're here for anyway. can't look at it as a negative, because you may have someone like myself who seems to be super healthy and I could die tomorrow and you could live for the next 50 years. Who knows? You create your own narrative. I just told you. Me personally, I would say find you a belief system, especially if you haven't figured out how to think for yourself yet. Find you a belief system that resonates with you. Mine was the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that resonated with me. When I was told that I was a god, it was like taking the red pill. And I'm still going down that rabbit hole. I still haven't returned yet. Find something that resonates with you. And once you find that thing that resonates with you, negatives are going to still come in your life. But use the power of your mind. Use the power of your mind to think of the solution, but also use that force and power that comes with your belief system or that higher power to overcome whatever comes in your way. This is another one. Choose the industry that you enjoy. Choose an industry that you enjoy with the market that you want to serve. Me personally, I chose the personal development industry because it was more in alignment with my personality and it had the market that I wanted to serve. My market that I want to serve is the people who were once like me and are still like me, the real nonconformists, the people who really, you probably don't want to work a job ever. You probably don't really resonate with the hocus pocus of religion. You probably don't you want to find yourself. You don't want to, you just really don't want to be regular. And you probably never wanted to be regular. And nothing's wrong with being regular, by the way. As a matter of fact, I used to somewhat envy people who were regular. Because my whole life I never felt like I fit in anywhere really. So when I seen people who could go to school and be excited and make straight A's, like, damn, I wasn't dumb, but I just did not resonate with this school. Like, it was one of those things that just didn't interest me. The good kids in church, the kids who would just sit down and just be told what to do, and you don't question anything about what they're telling you. Like, how do you survive? Like, how do you live that life? I check out. When it doesn't make sense to me, I check completely out. And people like myself, we have to find our niche. We have to find out where we fit in. We have to get in where we fit in. Find your industry. I'm in the people business. I like personal development. I like the way the mind works. I really, really like to study and understand human nature on a deep, deep level. Now you might be a person who's into fixing cars or, I don't know, chopping trees or whatever. I mean, whatever you do, the heart doesn't do what the lungs do. The lungs don't do what the kidney do. The kidney doesn't do what the small intestine does. The eyes don't do what the ears do. I mean, I can't tell you what lane to go in, but you know what lane feels right for you. Assess your skills and your talents and figure out what is it that I've probably always been good at and that I also like to do. 9 times out of 10, that's your sweet spot. That's where you're going to stand out at. So find that niche and find the people that you like to deal with. I just told you, people that I like to deal with are generally people like myself. Really just non-conformists, people who want to go out here and be masters of the universe, or the people who want to be the bag or the becoming a god, which is the bag. That's my niche. That's the people that I like to talk to. Those are the people that I'm attracted to, and those are the people that are attracted to me. A negative attitude repels opportunities. That's a fact. And I didn't necessarily have what I thought was a negative attitude, but I surely didn't have I didn't carry around a positive attitude. I guess it was negative. It would have been negative, and it showed up on my face. I remember people used to think I always looked mad. Like people used to be like, "Oh, you look so angry." I didn't think I looked angry, but I guess I did. And that probably scared away a lot of opportunities. As a matter of fact, I know it did. It's like the girl, if you okay, I remember growing up, we used to see girls in clubs. And it used to amaze me how certain women, and I'm just talking about the women, guys do this too, could come to the club and it's like a lot of them want to have the diva type of vibe or the diva attitude. And it's like, damn, you come to the club to where this is a social spot to look mean and almost have like your nose tooted up, like you should smile. You know what I mean? You catch more bees with honey than you ever will with vinegar. A con artist knows this. Even a con artist knows to at least be likable, to at least be inviting. But oftentimes, especially if you're coming up in the hood, we walk around with mugs on our face because it's really a defense mechanism. That's really what it is. I'm scared, don't mess with me. Or I don't want to be looked at as weak, don't mess with me. And people don't mess with you. But every opportunity that you find is going to be through a person. That's where the opportunity comes in at. Opportunity comes through a person. So I hear people all the time say, I don't like people. If you want to be a master of the universe and you want to be able to create that reality that you want, you better start liking people. I mean, just sit back because people are very interesting, man. Very. As you can see, I like to read a lot of books. But every person that you encounter is a book. I had to learn that. I would be the person with the headphones on or my book, reading everywhere until I learned. Sometimes take the headphones off. Sometimes close the book and just observe. Ear hustle a little bit. Just hear what people are saying around you. Even carry you a pad and write some stuff down. I'm not saying be nosy, but just be observative, man. Really soak up the space that you're in. You and these people are in the same place at the same time. In this the world has been here for trillions of years. The universe has. What were the chances of you and these people sharing the same space and time at this particular time? Yeah, they're a stranger. But just imagine what story they have. What do they have? It's like a piece in a puzzle. They may just have a piece in a puzzle that they could put inside. They may have the piece that you could put inside of your puzzle, and now your picture is complete. Think about it. Don't be scared to go talk to that girl, man. That might be your wife. You may have a lineage like Abraham. That's as much it's as vast as the sand on the beach. By just talking to this girl, you don't know what that might lead to. You could live forever by her getting pregnant, and then your daughter getting pregnant, and your grandson getting pregnant. You don't know. Also, by just smiling, by just being inviting. Prime example. This is the law of attraction, how it works. This was in 2019. No, this is in 2020. I'm sorry. This is when I kind of came out of that depression. And I was starting to look on the up and up. I was practicing the law of attraction, more stuff of that nature. And I'm sitting in McDonald's. Sitting in McDonald's on my computer, thinking about how to sell stuff online. This is no lie. A guy who works at FedEx, who just happened to be in McDonald's in Lake Park of all places. I'm from Valdosta. I barely go to Lake Park. And the guy was seated maybe in a booth, maybe two booths down from me. And this gentleman just happened to see me. It was actually on the day that Deontay Wilder, I think it was the first fight, may have been the second. I think it was the first though. Whichever fight they had in 2020, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. It was during one of their fights. It was the day of. He invited me to come to his house and all. You know, him and his friends were gonna barbecue and all that. Real cool dude. But he was like, "Hey man, you work on the computer?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm starting it out." He was like, "Hey man, I have a program that I haven't dug into yet, but someone gave it to me. And man, I'll send it to you if you interested in it. Just a real cool dude." This program was called Marketplace Magic. And this program was called Marketplace Magic, and it was a drop shipping program. And I want to say this was in March. And I kind of put it off a little bit, but I'm gonna say starting in May, from May to the end of that year, I made around $48,000, more money than I ever made in my life, sitting on my ass at home. This is real. Just be inviting, man. Take the headphones off for a minute. I understand if you're in the library, that's different. If you're somewhere where deep study is encouraged, yeah. But I'm telling you, when you step out, you don't know, especially when you're consciously creating your own reality, you don't know what opportunities the Supreme Being has waiting for you. Because the Supreme Being is not going to drop out the sky like this with whatever you ask him for. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to take inspired action, meaning you're going to have to be present enough to hear that super conscious mind inside of you that's going to come through that subconscious and finally hit you in the conscious and take action. You have to have the courage of a tiger, man. Of a tiger. I told you. You stay inside of this circle. Meaning you have a belief system. You don't go outside of that. And a belief system is good because it helps with your values as well. Your belief system helps. It can see things that you can't see now. But as long as it's inside of that belief system, you don't be scared of anything. You are a tiger inside of this belief system. You do whatever. I mean, you are a tiger, and we'll get deeper into it. It's only the third live. But that's what being open to an opportunity can do for you. Just being invited. Put a smile on. Oh yeah, and I grew up in a time we all every time we took a picture, it was like this. We never smiled in my picture. I mean, for years. For years, we never smiled. All right, let's see. You can't profit by, oh no, you can. Right. You can't really profit just by being disappointed. Disappointment is going to happen, but it's the way that you look at it, right? Most of us are scared of failure. That's one of the top limiting beliefs people have, that fear of failure. That's the thing. But we don't want to be disappointed. That's why we don't want to fail. And it's all about how you look at failure. You have to go into it like a stoic. Every time you try, you're not really failing. It's actually working. Right? It's working. Even if you're starting to be a basketball player, you're missing every shot. Now, in your mind, because we're so critical of ourselves, we'll tell ourselves, damn, man, I suck. I must not be cut out to play basketball. I hate this. I'm going to go try something else. Then we go try something else. And we suck at that too. Then we try something else because we sucked at the last two things and we suck at that too. So what are we going to stick to? That's why it's good to know what you like to do. Because when you know what you like to do, it doesn't matter. You're never going to stop. But while you're shooting the basketball and you're missing every shot, it is working. It's working. Just because you don't see the ball going inside of the hoop at this moment doesn't mean it isn't working. It's slowly coming together because you're learning. And if you stay doing it, right? Oftentimes, when you go home at night and you take a shower, that inspiration is going to come. That idea is going to come. Dang, you know what? I know where I was messing up at. I wasn't flicking the wrist good enough. Or maybe I need to work on, I don't know, whatever basketball players do. If you're that committed into it and you're into it, you're going to know what to do with it. If you're an entrepreneur, you're making no sales day after day. Damn, man, why? Man, ain't nobody buying this. Man, ain't nobody gonna buy it. Man, I knew I should have just quit. I know I should just go give up. Oh man, it's working. Today, you're learning how to write that script. See, the thing is, that script isn't working just yet. Or it seems to not be working just yet, but it is working. It's just that you have to go back and perfect it and perfect it and perfect it. And eventually it starts to pay in the results that you were looking for the whole time. It's always working when you're using the law of attraction and you're controlling your mind. If you see what you want and you can remain focused on what you want and take inspired action, it's always working. It's never not working, regardless of what your eyes see. This is where the doubts creeps in through the eyes, because in your mind, you believe what you see. But guess what? Faith is believing in what you don't see with the naked eye yet. You see it with the third eye, which is the mind. That's the reality, because everything here is an illusion. One day, all of this will be. This will not be here 100 years from now. Or if it is, it won't look like it looks right now. It probably won't be here 1,000 years from now, 500 years from now. Whatever was here 1,000 years from now, 500 years from now, it's not here right now. I don't know what it looked like. I don't know what this space and time looked like. I don't know where I was at 1,000 years ago, but I wasn't here in this body. I don't know where I'll be 1,000 years from now. I might show up as one of your descendants, but hey, who knows? So, let's see. Keep working. Don't abandon the vision, but strategize. Don't compromise. And this is where I reign supreme at. I strategize. I don't compromise. I was the child growing up who got all the whoopings in the house, all the, you ain't gonna be shit. Oh, you're gonna be, because I didn't compromise. Whoever I was, whatever it was that I wanted, it had to make sense, and I wanted it. I'm the same way today as a grown man. Whatever I set out to do, it is what it is. I will die on this post. You know what I mean? But you can only do that if you're sold. So don't get me wrong. There are some things that I started that I just had to let go. At some point, I realized that, hey, this just ain't working. Or it was working, but maybe I just wasn't really sold on it in the first place. For instance, let's talk about the personal development industry. When I first started out with drop shipping, I liked the money. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that I liked to have my freedom, which it gave me. But once the money slowed up, it's like, okay, I don't really care enough about this to really figure out all the intricacies of it and stay down with it. So I knew it was time. And I had plenty of people telling me, man, why don't you just go back and revamp it? Man, why don't you make a course on it? I mean, I may do that in the future, but I had to figure out, okay, I made the money. I know what freedom with money looks like, with passive income feels like. What is it that I want? Because it's not the money. The money, it was cool, but it didn't really make me fulfilled. Drop shipping didn't fulfill me. It wasn't until I got some coaching. I paid around $5,000, $3,000, $5,000. I can't remember. It's back in 2022. for some coaching that completely transformed my life. I got crystal clear on what it is that I wanted. So therefore, I started out with no money doing this. Right? And I still do it to this day. Even though the money still it's not drop shipping money at all. Nowhere near it. But this is something that I'm willing to die for, which is this vision of creating heaven on earth, which is the vision of raising the dead to life. If I can do this effectively, and raise to the pinnacle of this vision, even if I live to see 57 years old, 45 years old, it's all good. I'm 35 now. It's all good. My mission was complete. Because I believe you have people who worked for money and never found their purpose and were never fulfilled, and they may live to see 87, 97 years old and die broke. Not financially, but spiritually. Mentally, they never found that purpose. They were never fulfilled while they were here. And those are the people that I think have to repeat this. You know, that's the way this world is really set up. You have to repeat what you don't complete. The things that we steady have struggles with is just a sign that we have to learn and overcome this obstacle in order to go to the next level. But what happens if you never overcome the obstacle of living, period? What if your life was strictly for some money? And that's all it was. Damn, did you just die? Like, what was it? What was the impact of your life? Who was impacted by it being here? But I don't want to go off on a rant. But whatever it is, when you find out what it is that you want, sell all the way out. If you can't find something to live for, find something to die for. And that's your mission. Passion plus purpose equals mission. Another thing, last thing, don't stop strengthening your mind. This thing right here is a tool, man. It's infinite. It's infinite. Reading the books are cool. That's fine. That's cool. But there's a missing piece to the puzzle that I want to give you. And I know the same way many people don't like to go to the gym, most people don't like to practice presence. And by presence, I mean sitting still or quietly in a room alone for minutes at a time. To me, that's almost the ultimate test of loving yourself. If you can stand to be with you, if you can just stand to be with yourself for 10, 20 minutes a day, alone, quiet, no interruptions, no movement, just you and your thoughts, you're going to figure out who you are. You'll figure out who you are. Not only will you figure out who you are, you'll figure out what you want. That will strengthen your mind, because it is going to teach your mind discipline. Right now, your mind is all over the place. Your mind is over here. It's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on YouTube, it's listening to the new song, it's thinking about what you're going to eat, it's thinking about something that somebody told you that pissed you off. Your mind is everywhere but where you want it to be, which is in heaven, because heaven is a state of mind. Peace, love, joy, abundance, all that is mental or spiritual and mental. You feel those things. They're created by thoughts, and those thoughts create feelings, and those feelings create actions, and those actions create habits, and those habits create your reality. Don't you want to go to heaven while you live? Because whoever told us we were going to heaven when we died, who's the person that came back and told them? How do they know that? And just think about it. Would you want to bet your life on that? That's like me saying, hey, give me $100 and I'll pay you back. You don't even know me. You don't even know me at all. Give me $100 and I'll pay you back next year. You don't even know me. You're going to ask why? How? How do I know you're going to be able to pay me? You would ask those questions. What's the incentive? Not just be like, it makes you a good person. You'll be a good person if you do it. Would you do that? Probably not. So why would you live your life in hell right now? Because most people live lives with quiet desperation. If you don't believe me, just go to your local Walmart. If you don't, most people are eating fast food nowadays. If you don't believe me, just visit your local fast food restaurant. As a matter of fact, tomorrow when you go to work, just hang out in the break room. Do you see most people who are operating out of love, abundance, and peace and joy? Hell no. Most people are angry, stressed, frustrated, and right above depression. And we're waiting. We're waiting on the job. We're waiting on the woman. We're waiting when we lose weight. We're waiting on the man. No, you can enter heaven right now. Right now. I challenge you for the next 10 weeks. No, I'm sorry, not 10 weeks. I know you don't have that kind of patience. For the next 7 days, sit down in a room, straight silence, either late at night or early in the morning, whenever you're not around the kids. Put the cats up, put the dogs up. Tell your wife you're chilling out or your husband that you're chilling out for a few minutes. Do that. Close your eyes too. I close my eyes. I think it's better because you tune out the world when you close your eyes. Yeah, close your eyes. But don't be sleepy when you do it because you'll go to sleep. And don't lay down. Sit up straight. Sit up like this. You know, no back support whatsoever. Don't have any back support. You need a straight and aligned spine. I challenge you to do that for the next 7 days. And after you do it, leave it in the comments what you've experienced. How has it impacted your life? This is Johnny Lamar X. And until next time, peace. Oh, and also remember, you are the bag. Just dig on in. Peace.